What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Jules. That is Xander. And today we're here to talk Silo, Season 2, Episode 6, called Barricades. Xander, you almost got your wish. A
Almost.
non-Jules episode. So close.
So close.
So close.
And I could handle that much joules. That was
Yeah.
good. That was a good amount of joules.
Now, look, before you flip out on us in the comments, we love Rebecca Ferguson. We're just a little upset with her storyline moving at a snail's pace. That's all.
So slow.
I like Rebecca Ferguson and I like Jules. Great character. Well done.
Yes.
Just a weird storyline.
Yeah. It's weird what they're doing with her this season. I hope towards the end of the season, like some crazy shit happens because
Me too.
I feel like we're straying too far away from Jules.
There's a little wrinkle that happened at the end of the episode, which was her scene that we'll talk about when we get to it. So we'll see. But I thought it was a good episode. A lot of badass Knox moments. He's becoming my favorite character. He's awesome. Hopefully you guys like this episode. I thought it was good. So let's get going. It starts off with the barricade. How fitting the episode's called Barricade. And all of the deliveries are being held back from the down deep. The plan is to starve them out. Starve them into submission, basically, and get them to turn in Shirley and Knox. That's what the plan is from the mayor, and he's the dickhead, and it doesn't work because of what they do in this episode. Now, Knox is getting patched up by Shirley, and Walker said she's not going anywhere. They can come get me if they want. She's just worried about Carla. And Knox goes back to Mark, and we were wondering what that favor was he asked for, and holy shit, that dude made him some weapons, some armor.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. So cool.
Yeah, badass.
Yeah,
I was expecting the weapons. I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting armor.
Yeah.
That kind of took me off guard for a second. But yeah.
They also showed him shirtless. That dude's built.
Yeah. He's lifting for real. Yeah.
He's getting in on down deep. And you might be getting in with Shirley soon too. Oh. And then so all their food was poisoned with rat poisoning that they had, and it was a little obvious the way where they were doing it. There was just like blue shit all over so I don't know who they were trying to trick, but that means that
they were.
Yeah.
You don't think they were? They were just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Not only are we not giving you more food, but we're gonna fuck with the food you already have. So sucks.
But that means there's a mole down there working for Bernard, and they're gonna have to snip that out fast because you can't be having that. They're already up against it with everything they got to deal with. Now they got to deal with a fucking mole. Come on, that's not cool. So we'll see. And then Bernard says,
Only 9 missed meals separate a functioning society from chaos.
so that's what he's hoping for. And Patrick is getting help from the doctor's shadow. He's not happy about that. He wants a real doctor.
Is it just because I'm a low-life criminal that I don't need a doctor? I just get a shadow.
He says, drug me up, fella. And the dude offers aspirin. So, yeah. And then Billings gets a message off to his wife to get a doctor down there. And she pulls some ballsy shit, holding the kid and bringing the kid down there. That's crazy, but she's a real one. She loves her husband. And I want to talk about his illness later on, what you guys thought about that. That was interesting to me. I wonder why they highlighted that, but we'll see. Shirley and Knox stand up on the table because everybody's pissed. They're like, turn yourself in. We're going to starve because of you. They're like, look, it's a lie. We're framed by Bernard and Sims. And they're like, well, you're going to make our children starve because of you? Just go turn yourself in. So what? You watch us die? And then Walker stands up and she's like, you going to let me die too? Like, we don't blame each other down here. And then they're all like, oh, we don't want to starve. And then they get food that was sent from level 122 and with a note in it that said Juliet lives.
From your friends on 122, Juliet lives.
So there are people on their side that are not stuck down there with them. So you think it'd be more of a 50-50 split when they finally battle? Who's going to have the upper hand?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell right now. I think no one will have the upper hand, but I'm thinking there's probably going to be like a significant amount of mix, like you'll have a bunch of moles in the down deep and you'll have a bunch of people that are on their side up top and kind of working within I don't think there'll be like a big head-on battle, but there'll definitely be a little espionage going across the lines.
It feels like there's going to be a lot of that, actually.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that scene. I don't know what happens first. Juliet gets back or they go to battle. Because
I kind of feel like she's gonna walk in, like in the middle of
during it. Yeah.
Like duking it out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be really cool. I can't
And
wait
then everyone's just gonna stop and be like, what the fuck?
It's like Jesus. Yeah. So then Kathleen Bung's wife goes to Pete and says, hey, someone needs a doctor down there. It's got to be hush hush. And he's like, oh, it's against protocol. She's like, come on, we got to do this. Come with me. So he does. And then Bernard hears about the news about the food. And he says, look, put raiders at every chute. They'll run out soon. It's going to work. And then Billings goes to see Walker. She's like, I'm not talking until you can find out where they're holding Carla.
One thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, they've done a weirdly good job at focusing on that one Asian dude in the judicial spot where they watch all the cameras. And when
I have his name somewhere. I'll get to it at some point.
When Bernard is saying that, he says it in front of him, and they leave the shot lingering on that dude. So I wonder if he's going to be a mole, like deep within judicial, because he's like, it kind of looked like he was like, I don't want to starve people. That's weird.
And he did say that he has, what was his aunt?
On 130
down there?
Yeah.
Is on 130, and he's like, and I trust her. So like maybe there's a reason he got that message later on. Like I could see that. I could see him animal.
Me too. Well, we'll get to his character when he talks to Sims, because that I think has heavy implications too, that he's going to be a bigger character moving forward. So yeah, she's not talking until he can find where Carla is, and he does later on, find out where she is. So Pete tries to get through. They won't let him. They're like, look, we got orders. And then Kathleen comes up with the idea to say, hey, there's a woman that's going through labor. She needs a C-section. Only 2 people here can do it. He's one of them. If you let her die, you're going to be violating the pact, and then you're screwed. So let him through. So it works. They let him through. So smart play by Kathleen.
I'm glad she was there.
Lucas, yeah. And then Lucas, how about his arc, dude? I mean, we can say it right now. He becomes the shadow.
That's
crazy.
I was pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, me too.
I was hoping he was coming back, but I did not expect that.
Because like he loves Juliet, so having him as the shadow for the mayor is kind of awesome. Because when it comes down to it, you know what side he's on, right?
I don't know, man.
You don't know anymore?
I think he could be a dude that once he starts getting answers to the questions that he has, he won't want to let go of the position he's in.
It's he's going to get like power hungry.
I don't even know if it'll be framed as power hungry, but more
knowledge
hungry. Yeah. Like having access to that knowledge. The fact that Bernard is like, I know what type of code that is.
Which makes sense because that's like his whole thing. It's like you give him like crumbs and he can put that shit together. So like,
I could see him being the one that puts together why they're in the silo. I could see it being no one knows and he's going to piece it together.
I was going to say, I could see him like figuring out something that like the Bernards of the silos don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sneaky. One of my favorite characters too. He's really interesting guy.
Handsome guy.
Very handsome. He is. I like everything about him. He's cool. Yeah. He's trying to crack the code. He's keeping Bernard happy. We'll come back to this in a minute. He kind of cracks a little bit of it, but not much, breadcrumbs, like we said, but enough to make him the shadow. So then Bernard goes to see Camille, and he's like, you helped the murderers, huh? And she kind of talks her way out of it. He's like, it was your husband who instructed the crowd to go after them in the first place, and then you stopped that from happening. Does he know about this? Yeah, he knows, and he understands. He's the judge now. He understands. So are you guys still on the vibe that her and Sims are in cahoots, or maybe she did this on her own? What'd you get from that scene?
I still think her and Sims are in cahoots for sure.
Okay.
I think that was her realizing Bernard is onto them, or she's like a good enough liar that she can lie her way out of that situation. But she knows that if he came down there on his own accord, just to kind of do that, he wants to directly see her reaction. So she's
all right. Yeah.
Yeah. She knows what world she's working in. It feels like they're both kind of taking information away from that exchange that like wasn't specifically said.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I'm with it. I'm not going to argue it. And then the badass scene, well, one of the badass scenes, we see Knox and Co show up with their weapons and their armor.
Go get a hot meal in the cafeteria. We got this.
So they radio Amundsen. They're like, yo, we need guns. Shit's getting real down here. They got some weapons. They look badass. We're scared. Come on. Let's go. So Pete gets the Patrick. Come back to that in a minute. And then Diego, that's his name. So Diego tells Sims about his aunt's message.
She said there was a second group heading the other direction. They had weapons and a saw. She said it was the kind of saw they used to cut through concrete.
So it's going to be some sort of ambush. So Sims now has this knowledge. And yeah, I think Diego is definitely going to be a large character in the grand scheme of things for sure, especially with the way they focused on him. They showed that. I paused it when his aunt sent him that message. I wanted to read it, and it basically was exactly what I just said, what he said to Sims. And why is Amundsen like ignoring him? And then he goes over his head to talk to Sims about it. So yeah, that guy's There's something with that guy for sure. And then we see them break through. Come back to that in a second. Sims sees Lucas. He's like, "You're supposed to be in the mines, motherfucker. What are you doing here?"
The fuck are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the mines.
So, yeah, he's not happy. He's like, "Where's Bernard?"
Oh, wait till he finds out that he's Bernard's shadow.
Oh my God.
He's going to lose his fucking mind.
After wanting that position so badly, and then this dude gets it, that
Pulled
you
him out of fucking, yeah.
Oh, out of the mines?
Out of the mines.
Makes him his shadow?
Yeah,
Crazy.
got no respect.
Not gonna go
I think it's
not going to go over well.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get there, but I think it's a weak move from Bernard. So
You think?
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
I think so.
interesting to hear that. All right, interesting to hear that. Okay, so yeah, that happens. Pete gets the bullet out, and then Sims tells his wife about the team cutting up through the floor, and she has a large part to play with the Raiders in their direction. So now she has this knowledge, so she's gonna go down and try to warn them about that. And then Amundsen gets to the barricade. He's like, the guns are on their way. And then Billings is talking to Patrick, and he's like, "Look, I did my part. Talk." He's like, "Maybe tomorrow. I'm a bit woozy." And then Paul clears the room. He's like, "Nah, dude, we're talking. Tell me what you said you were gonna tell me." And then he plays bad cop. Slams his chair. Sits down. He's like, "If not, I'm going to tell Sims where you are, and he'll throw you in a hole. So get to talking, brother."
That was
So-
the first time I noticed in this episode, that was the first time I noticed that his hands weren't shaking. Because every time, he's played that. Every time he plays that kind of intensity, you see his hands start to shake, and he puts his hands on the chair, and it like zooms out, and they were just like dead set, like steady. I was like, oh,
I wonder why. We'll get to it when he talks to his wife.
Yeah.
But I'm really wondering why. Because he's like, "Look, what I have to say is going to ruin your wife." So do you know why the computers went dark when Nichols was on the run? He's like, "My buddy Danny put something in the systems. What they said was bullshit. So for 10 seconds, what they saw on screen, it was like what you had on that page, only a million times more beautiful." The only thing is, that shit is fake. It's the fake thing that they show everybody when they go outside, a beautiful landscape with a bird flying, that same bird, so you can tell it's a replay, a video. So that's dangerous. Now, Billings thinks this is true, which is not, so it's kind of dangerous. So maybe he does wish he doesn't know that information. And then he's like, "I had to deal with Sims to throw that firebomb. Obviously, he was never going to go through with his thing. Maybe that drug thing doesn't even exist. And I got shot out of it. So obviously, he wasn't going to go through with it. Do you wish I never told you that?" He probably did. And what do you think he's going to do with this information? He just wants the truth, right? That's all he really wants.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he said to, was it to Patrick? No. Who did he say that to?
He said it to Knox and Shirley. Yeah.
Knox and Shirley. Yeah. He's like, "I'm not on anyone's side. Like, I'm on the side of the law. Like, I want to know exactly what's happening." And I think that bit of information is going to fuck with him because it's kind of giving like it's just adding more questions to the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we'll see what he does moving forward. Obviously his relationship with Bernard is pretty much over at this point. We'll get to it. And then Bernard's talking to Meadows. 140 years, dead Meadows. Sorry, I forgot to say that part. 140 years of stability could end on my watch. And it's very true. It could happen. So what happened was, when they dug up through the supply room. So that's what they went through. And then Camille comes down. She warns about the ambush. They break the barricade. So badass. It's wartime. And now they have guns. And then the coldest line of the episode delivered by Knox.
"You will kill 10 of us, but we will kill all of you and take the stairs."
Like, so badass. What's your move, guy? What do you want to do? You're all going to die. So Shirley goes, "How about this is the new barricade right here, 120. How about that? That work for you? Sounds good. Take a hike." So it works.
Do you think Camille, like Sim's wife, do you think she knew about the farm on 120? Because he looks at her and she's like, that's the thing we're doing.
How about we make this level the new boundary? That work?
Yeah, I wonder if she had put it all together in that moment and was like, huh.
I kind of feel like she did know.
This is when they talk about it. They only got 10 floors. They went from 130 to 120. So yeah, my mistake. They do go down. So then he's like, "What's on 122? A farm." Now they have a farm. We were trying to starve them. Now it's not going to work. They got food now. So yeah, it sucks for Bernard's point of view.
It's a good move though.
Now they have a farm. So yeah, not optimum.
Yeah, good move. Very smart. And Shirley brought it up. She's like, "What if the barricade was on 120? So yeah, it worked. Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. Billings goes back to Walker. She has info on Carla. Hank checked in with every deputy station and no one has her. Then he says sometimes high-profile suspects go to seclusion. And she's like, that's not going to work. She's got health issues. She'll die. It's like, I might be able to clear her, but I need to know what happened to Meadows. So she tells her, and then Shirley and Knox, they're celebrating their win today, and then they kiss, and they're probably about to bone. But Billings cockblocks them, and he goes, look, you found the judge dead, and you were framed. That's what Walker just told me. Swear on the pact that's true. Every word. So then this is when he calls Bernard. Located the fugitives. Not revealing their location, though. I need to open an investigation. Bernard's like, cut off the radio.
Disable all radio communication in the silo, now.
Fuck, I lost the sheriff. Damn it.
I just lost the sheriff. Mayor?
So that's what we said earlier. He cares about the truth and the law.
I think he knows that's a big L for him too. Like, I think because he didn't even attempt to try to like convince him that they were lying to him.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
I feel like he kind of just knew that he was already kind of leaning that way anyway.
Seems like it.
I think this was Bernard mistake number 1 in this episode, or in this season even, I would say. I felt more like a emotional reaction to what was happening than a calculated one. And I think cutting off all the radios, because there was probably a bunch of cops that had that going through their radios. I'm assuming they work like every other, radio system in the world, that other people are on that frequency.
Yeah.
So the fact that they heard him kind of be like, hey, I want to open an investigation, and then all the radios stop working.
Yeah.
Like if I was a cop, I'd be like,
seems sketchy.
that's weird. That's a pretty weird thing. Yeah.
Shady. Bad luck.
Especially now that Billings was at the end of the episode, he talks about how he's not going to be sheriff, but that's obvious in this moment that Bernard's going to make him not sheriff. So it's kind of another big thing of like, wow, we lost a sheriff went out, and now sheriff got fired after all the radios went down. I think it was a big miscalculation on Bernard's part.
So do you guys think that that's going to be like more because Billings defaulted to like the side of the
down deepers?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go with that. Do you think like because of that, like people are going to side with that? Or do you think that they're just going to be like more scared of like defying Bernard? Because he's like at his breaking point.
I think if anything, more people are going to be suspicious, especially anyone that heard that call, like, yo, I need to open an investigation. Why?
Especially if it's like overlaps with people who saw the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think Billings is a good character that could bring everyone together if he has those feelings, that doubt, which I'm sure he will now, that the mayor just completely cuts him off. If you have him,
because he's like the most forgiving person.
Yeah, well, and he's
like, I'm sure it's fine.
He's an authority figure in the silo too, right? So having the sheriff in like mechanical area down deep be like, hey, I think they killed the judge. It's gonna give them all kind of a sense of, I don't know, right? Like they'll feel like, it's not just, wow, us versus them because they're cutting off our food. It's like, okay, well, they're framing people now. And, the sheriff, he kind of gives it all more legitimacy.
The believes it.
Yeah. Definitely. So that's going to help their cause.
Isn't there technically 3 sheriffs now?
Yeah.
In the span of not very long time.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that would definitely solidify it. 2's a coincidence. 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So his worries about it all coming down on his watch. Very right to have those fears. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is when he talks about he won't be sheriff much longer. Then his wife brings up, you haven't taken your herbs, have you? He's like, oh, I forgot. You know what? Pass me that water. He passed the water, and like Xander brought up earlier, his hand doesn't shake.
What are you?
Look. Why do you think that is?
So why is his hand not shaking? Is the syndrome dissipating, or what's up with that? Anything there?
Could just be anxiety. Maybe it could be like a form of
like it's like a
mental. From being in the I think it was in season 1. Someone mentions that the syndrome might be just from never being able to walk straight. It's like maybe humans are just meant to walk in a straight line for more than like 10 feet. Just like like a brain being broken, and the fact that he has a purpose now. I think. He kind of feels like he's taken a sense of power back in his life that maybe it's just like gone.
So Lucas, he cracked some of the code, a part that said Silo, had an extra L. He's like, would Quinn really misspell Silo? It's like, I don't know. But then I did this and I see Allie, and Allie was Salvador Quinn's daughter's name. So then Bernard goes, oh shit, this isn't just this. This is a code within a code. It's like Inception, right? In order to crack this, you need to see the legacy, my dude.
You'd have to see the legacy.
Legacy? I don't know what that is.
What are you talking about? Stand up. You're my shadow.
Lucas Kyle, I am electing you to be my shadow. Please place your right hand on the pact.
Then he swears him in. So yeah, panic moves all around from Bernard this episode.
Yeah, he's fucking up, man.
Yeah, desperation is what I smell from Bernard. And I've never seen that with him before. He's always seemed kind of cool and collected. Now he's kind of,
and it probably doesn't help that like he doesn't have like Meadows to confide in anymore. Like he's kind of on his own at this point.
Yeah,
well,
true
with Lucas now, but
I think it'll be a good push for Sims and his wife, because I think right now the reason she goes down there when like Sims sends her down there to stop the ambush is because they think they can push their way back into positions of power or good graces with Bernard, where I think once he finds out that he made Lucas his shadow, he's going to be like, well, there's nothing left for me here, so I'll just burn this bitch to the ground. Like, yeah, all right.
That's going to piss him off.
Sense. Yeah. Especially if Camille's like already helping them, like helping the mechanical and everything. That would make sense to be that push for Sims.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Now, then we see Juliet for the first time. I thought we were going to not see her at all this episode, and Xander was going to get his wish. I think Jules might have said that too. You might have needed a break from her storyline as well. You know, I love the actress. I love the character, but
the thing is I don't need a break from it because nothing's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we get a twist in it, right? So Solo greets her. He's like, yeah, I gave you antibiotics. I made it myself. Good thing they worked. So apparently she's on the mend, right? But he stole the suit. He's like, it's safe. The suit's safe. But I'm going to need you to get that pump working again, because I'm not dying here in 10, 13 months. You get that pump working. I give you your suit. You save your people. I save me. Deal?
Look, you can waste time arguing with me, or you can start thinking about how you're going to fix that pump.
What do you guys think about that? Power move.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Oh, theory time.
No. Jules, go first. I'll do my theory after.
No. Go ahead.
I think that Solo knows that there's tunnels in the bottom of the silo that go to other silos. I don't even think the water in his silo is rising. I think he wants to pump it out because he wants to use the tunnels. And then he'll kind of be like, hey, there's these tunnels down here, so you could just walk back to your silo down here. That's how Jules will get back and not have to deal with, getting back into the silo, because she'll come up through the bottom. Bernard doesn't know what it is yet.
How else would you get in if, you know what I mean? You'd have to like...
And then Solo can come with her, or I'm sure he's been thinking about how to do that so he can get to another silo so he's not, fucking alone for his entire life.
Love it. But just so you know, if you're right, people are going to accuse you of looking that up.
I don't read. So
No,
I don't know.
It's just better at this than both me and Dan.
it's too, just the way they're setting up the Solo storyline. They're focused on those tunnels down there. They're like a huge question. The fact that there's water in this silo and there's water in main silo.
In what Lucas was able to decode from.
He pointed out that there are tunnels. Yeah.
And it's weird that they're making him, like, her draining the silo is so boring if there is nothing coming from it.
What is actually the point? Because just surviving, it just seems kind of silly.
It's up to you.
Very good point. I'm in. I think you're right. I'm riding with that.
And not only that, but they just pretty much glossed over that like tunnel in the bottom from last season. And I feel like it's weird that we haven't gotten answers on that yet. So
dude brought up.
There has to be something.
I found a door. I don't know where it leads. That they kind of glossed over that. So I think you're right. And guys, we are going to do a theory video. We got the holidays coming up. We already got a video submission in. If you want to send your videos, we much prefer them for theory videos because it makes it way more interactive. So you can send them to us on Twitter or Instagram at Scene Invaders. Just 1-2 minute video of your theory, and we will make one. I promise. And we're going to try to do it Monday. If not, we'll do it after the holiday, but it is coming. It is coming. And then I'm working on the Severance Season 1 recap. We're going to do a Lexington letter video on Severance, and then we're going to do probably a theory video a week on Severance because there's just so much to get into. There's no leaks, so we can all have fun and speculate. So that's going to be a blast. So subscribe if you enjoy this. If you're a Severance fan, definitely subscribe. We're going to be making probably like 25 videos throughout the season. So yeah. All right. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Later.
Bye guys.
Who the fuck is that?
This is Felix. He's been shadowing our doc.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened? That just happened.